Greeting. My name is Devin Williams, and today we're going to talk about nurture versus nature, or you even heard nature versus nurture. What I want to do today is I want my audience to know that the environmental influences of society has a greater impact on a child's life outside of the home. Nature is the foundation in one's life once conceived. But the individual's nurture will drastically influence the characteristics possessed through development. I want you to imagine this. Imagine shots fired through a window of someone's home. Two young black kings are fast asleep. Three bullets pierce the teddy bear in the bed where the youngest child was supposed to be sleeping. Mother, college graduate, 3.9 GPA, and father, all-American pro athlete, high GPA Israel college graduate. But still, to this day, they're young children. Academically, they still suffer because they cannot focus based on the tragic incident that happened in their life, which may have caused them to have PTSD or other forms of mental illness that they may suffer with. Growing up, I used to always wonder, how can two or three or more siblings live in the same home and be completely different and have different lifestyles? You know what? Today, many children have inherited many gifts and talents from their mother, their father, and even grandparents. Those gifts and talents will allow children to use their abilities in different ways. They will be creative, ambitious, thought-provoking, theatrical, intelligent, athletic, academically exceptional, and much more. However, the development of those gifts and talents or the characteristics possessed to obtain those successes will and can be obtained, will and can be unattainable due to the negative influences of one's environment known as nature versus nurture. Now, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about three major influences, environmental influences, that alters an individual's nurture, causing non-usage of their gifts and talents that they were inherited through nurture and nature. Prevalently, nature. We will discuss my position on the topic based off of personal experiences, and I will share with you the problem, the solutions, and action for how we can get involved and get this resolved. The three major environmental influences that influence the human development: number one, what individuals see. Number two, what individuals do. Number three, what individuals hear. Now let's dive into the problem. The problem that must be solved in society are the pre-exposed negative influences that come with the environment individuals live in. Socialization, proper nurture, and positive reinforcement of one's gifts and talents. Let's dive in this problem. Think about a time, or even a celebrity or a family member that you have known or maybe know of. Has something ever happened to them that may have changed their character or changed who you know them to be or changed their life forever? The person you knew to be this exceptional person all around is totally different, and they're a new person to you. Have you ever asked yourself what happened? Your answer is right here. Environmental influences could have led them to this transition. This is yet a problem, a very serious problem. We must take a stance on what we allow our children to be exposed to by starting the foundation at home. Our future generation counts on it. The lack of learning the values and morals or trades that lead generations for success is fading away. We have steered ourselves away from teaching inside the home like our grandmothers and great-grandfathers used to do for our loved ones. We must remember to build a foundation for our young people or or our structure as a generation will not have anything to stand on. Example, a child growing up in a loving, affectionate Christian family. Then she must move away to another family member house for a specific reason with a household without any religious structure, affection, and loving care for the child. Which way do you think the child may sway after a period of time? Now, let's look at it. Let's set the stage. The overall solution to this issue is simple. Not to allow nature to overrule nurture in the development of the youth. We as a people must get back to maintaining the position on what and who we allow to raise our young people. We as a people must get back to praying together, loving each other, caring for each other, learning the do's and the don'ts of life. We must go back to teaching our young people etiquette and manners. We must support them in their endeavors and listen and learn from them as well. We must go back to being affectionate and telling each other, I love you. So that way, our young people will be secure enough in themselves to not conform to the negative impact of society. Now, what I want to do is I want everyone to get involved. You guys can get involved by making a commitment to each one teach one. In their homes and the communities. In your homes and your communities. We evaluate the techniques we use to raise our children before society raise them. What I want you to do is I want you to think about this. The techniques that we use for raising our children, if they're not proper, then society can raise our children for us. And I want us to keep in mind of that. I charge each of our parents, grandparents, and future parents to positively influence your child. Nurture them in a manner where their gifts and talents will be developed and used to make society a better place. We have the power to help change a generation. The power is in our hands. An author from Nature versus Nurture, Pros and Cons, cited from connectusfund.org, stated, what we do know about family environments is that child maltreatment today will create more opportunities for it to exist in the next generation. The good news is that we do have the power to disrupt this vicious cycle. What happens in the past does not define who a person will become. But the negative influences, quote and unquote, but the negative influences in society will brutally affect your child's growth and development if we don't continue to fully nurture our children correctly. As I close, I charge each one of you to take the opportunity to be someone's environmental influence that will positively impact their development towards being the greatest versions of themselves. The effect of heredity and environment is nothing new to us, and it brings us to the table for self-examination. Heredity and environment does play an effective role on our personality. This personal conclusion, verified by one-on-one interaction with family, friends, stranger, and experience. Whatever the heredity supplies, the favorable environment brings it out. Environment shapes personality characteristics obtained by heredity. I want to leave you with this. Mary Savin Roger stated, sometimes I think that thugs learn to be brutal because people have been cruel to them. If you want to make a dog vicious, all you have to do is beat him for no reason. It's the same with a child. only easier. You don't even need to beat him. Jeering and mocking him is enough. I quote and I unquote. As I conclude, I want you guys to take that information with you. Each one teach one. Be an example. I want you to go out and be that environmental influence that one can lead and make change in this world. Let's act. Let's take a stand. Nature versus nurture. Thank you. My name is Devin Williams, and that was my speech for today. That was my speech for today.